WWE Smackdown starts off with a Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa promo. Solo basically comes out, ends up saying that he wants another title shot and that he deserves it since he got screwed over at SummerSlam. Cody ends up, hyping up Solo a bit, ends up saying that he deserves a championship opportunity, but he wasn't talking directly to to Solo. He ends up referring to Jacob Fatu and saying Jacob Fatu deserves the opportunity. Jacob Fatu ends up going towards the ring apron. Him and Solo are staring at each other, but Jacob Fatu ends up staying loyal. So it looks like they're already planting the seeds of a potential, Jacob Fatu potentially turning on Solo. It is a bit too soon for this, to be honest, but they already planted the seeds for it. Don't know when that will happen because with Triple H booking, this may not happen until like next year's SummerSlam. So, but they're already planting the seeds, so that's interesting. But so of course Jacob Fatu ends up staying loyal, ends up backing down. Then if I'm not then Cody basically ends up accepting Solo Sikoa's championship opportunity for next week. The Bloodline tried to attack Cody Rhodes, but then out of nowhere, DIY and the Street Profits ends up coming in. They was about to brawl, but then Nick Aldis ends up coming out, end up confirming the match for next week. But he ends up saying that he doesn't want the Bloodline to interfere, so he makes it a steel cage match. And then in the main event, he ends up making the Bloodline face DIY and the Street Profits. Overall, okay segment. Not gonna speak too much on it. Don't really have much to say here. Okay opener. Yeah, I really don't have much to say here because overall, this show was whatever. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it wasn't good either. It was just a whatever show in my opinion. Now next, we get a quick Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax segment. Nia Jax basically ended up alluding to the fact that Tiffany was trying to cash in on her, but Tiffany of course denies it. Then Nia ended up alluding to potentially costing her the match or not costing her the match against our match against Bayley. That will be next. So they're already planting the seeds of Nia not trusting Tiffany Stratton as well. Already planted the seeds of, Tiffany Stratton already, still planting the seeds that Tiffany Stratton will soon cash in on Nia. Then later, we end up getting Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton was about to pick up the victory. She ended up getting a roll-up pin, but Nia Jax ended up getting distracted because Bayley ended up doing a suicide dive, if I'm not mistaken. So that ended up, Nia ended up distracting the ref to confess her frustration. Then with Tiffany Stratton not being able to get the pinfall, Bayley was able to take advantage and ends up picking up the victory against Tiffany Stratton. So this just planted the seeds that give more and more reason for Tiffany to eventually cash in on Nia Jax eventually whenever that happens. Now we get Giovanni Vinci. He comes out with his brand new gimmick and he's facing Apollo Crews. He comes out and this match was very quickly. Giovanni is taking forever. He's taking a very long time to take off his jacket. Like he's taking a really long time. The referee just ends up, ringing the bell, and Apollo Crews ends up getting a roll up in for the victory. I don't know what's going to be the big move for Giovanni Vinci because I don't know how, because I don't think he has a high ceiling, especially with this gimmick. But I'm somewhat interested. Now, if his gimmick is being this super rich, obnoxious, overconfident, arrogant, rich guy, I think it could work, but I feel like you need to do more. Make him the ultimate arrogant, slimy, rich guy. Like, I know this person isn't well liked, but make him like Alberto Del Rio. Like, just give him the Alberto Del Rio treatment if you really want to go for the angle. Now, I'm not sure that's the angle they're going with because I know this gimmick is kind of from NXT, so you guys let me know. But if that's the angle they're going with, go with that route. Give him outside the race part, but give him a nice car to drive in the show. You know what I'm saying? You could give him a woman if you want that as well. Put some chains on him. Actually, sell it. Sell that he's actually this rich guy. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. I think that would make it a little bit more entertaining. But who knows? I'm not the one booking the show. Now, we end up getting another segment between KO, Grayson, and Theory. Grayson and Theory basically make fun of Kevin Owens and stuff, so this leads into a match. Kevin Owens basically crashed out and ends up saying that he wanted to make it a triple threat match because he wanted to test Grayson Waller and Austin Theory's friendship because they end up mentioning his friendship with Cody Rhodes. During the match, it was a moment where Theory ended up hitting one of his signature moves, but Grayson Waller goes for the pin, which got Theory angry. He ends up pulling him off of Kevin Owens, and they end up both arguing. But Kevin Owens ends up picking up the victory, which I think is very weird and kind of stupid. Now, I understand that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are losers. I just don't think that you needed to have a match in order to to tease a heel turn. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I get that they wanted to tease the potential face turn. My issue is that you didn't need a match. This match meant nothing. This, like, for example, even the Apollo Crews and Giovanni Vinci match, you could say that was a waste of time, but at least it's building towards something. I don't think this chaos, like, you could say Austin Theory and Grayson Waller is building towards something as well, but I kind of feel like it didn't progress anything, if that makes sense. Where Giovanni, you could say it progressed something because at least he had a match. That's his first match in a really long time. So you can at least say that progressed. This, on the other hand, this didn't progress anything. This is the stuff we already been seeing. Like, you didn't need to. You could have just had a regular segment where, Grayson Waller sets up Austin Theory again. I don't think having two guys lose is really helping them, and then you're gonna have them get beat Kevin Owens after the match when you could have just had them win. But I don't know. I just feel like this whole thing just didn't make sense at all, in my opinion. Next, we end up getting LA Knight. He was cutting a promo. Shortly, it gets interrupted by Carmelo Hayes. He comes out and says that LA shouldn't be bragging and that he's the one next in line for the U.S. Championship because he beat Andrade twice. Andrade then comes out. He ends up saying that, look, he did lose twice to Melo, but he's also tied with Melo as well, and he deserves opportunity. Then Andrade starts speaking in Spanish to LA Knight. He starts getting a little too aggressive and start, touching LA Knight a bit. Then that leads to a brawl between all three of them. Towards the end, which was very stupid. I understand why they did it. LA Knight ends up standing tall with two BFTs, but the way they set this up was very weird. They had LA Knight hit the BFT on Andrade first. Then LA Knight was about to leave the ring, but then Melo ended up constantly, trash talking Andrade. He didn't see LA Knight, and then LA Knight decided to do the BFT on Melo, which I just feel like that just didn't make sense. I feel like that was a little too much. Um, I get why they did it, but sometimes Triple H be making heels be way too stupid. Like, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. But overall, it looks like they're setting a potential triple threat match for the U.S. title, which I am very interested in. I would love to see that. So, I think that should be a banger of a match. Then, I'm not going to speak too much on this, but we end up getting Chelsea Green versus Michin. This match got set up backstage. Um, this was an okay match. I'm not gonna speak too much on it. I'm just happy that Chelsea Green and Michin are getting actual TV time because they have a women's roster. You might as well use it. I understand you only have 2 hours in the show, but in my opinion, I don't think that's really an excuse because, in my opinion, I think if NXT is able to use all of their women in 2 hours, SmackDown should. I understand that the main roster is different. Maybe cut some things out. Stop giving the Bloodline 20-minute promos. I'm just saying. But, only for Roman, I feel like they should really have long promos, in my opinion, long segments. But I'm just happy that these two are able to shine because they have a women's division, but they don't use it that often. And I'm not even going to speak about the main event because the main event is the biggest waste of time ever. I don't even know why. Yeah, I'm not even going to speak about the main event. Overall, this show was very mid. It wasn't great or anything. It wasn't bad, but it was just very mid. Not even going to speak about the 8-man tag because that was the biggest waste of time ever. Nothing progressed really, and this was the last episode of SmackDown before they leave off Fox, before they go to USA. So it's whatever. Overall, like I said, mid show, but hopefully this eventually gets better and progress because SmackDown, I will say they have been slightly better since recently, but they still haven't been really good. They're still arguably the fourth best show in terms of AEW if you count Dynamite. But you guys let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.